Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 28 of Civilization 5, the One City Challenge as Venice. I was trying to work out over the last few episodes about the supply limit. And as I understood the supply limit is if you went over your supply limit you got a production penalty to building new units. Someone has recently suggested that your trade routes actually count towards your supply limit, but don't count towards the penalty. So even though I technically have minus 13 supply because I'm using 23, 18 of that is actually my cargo routes, and if we don't count that, technically I'm still at plus 5. I haven't confirmed whether or not that is the case, but it certainly sounds like it could be the issue. Either way, I haven't noticed in any way, shape or form that we've been getting a production penalty for units. Not that we're building any units, and I have been buying most of the ones from now on. So we're still working towards our spaceship part, so we can go for a scientific victory. Somebody did have a good suggestion also, which is all of these city-states that are being harassed by Mongolia and whatnot, is I should be pledging to protect them all. And that may be enough to discourage certain AIs from attacking them, especially if it's an AI that I'm already friendly with, like I've forgotten his name, Genghis Khan, for example. So let's just go around and pledge to protect all of these city-states. I can't even remember which ones I am protecting. Oh, we're already protecting that one. I guess somewhere along the line we could possibly even get a diplomatic victory if we wanted to. There's certainly a possibility of that happening. I thought there were 2 city-states down there. I'm sure there's still a few city-states that we have yet to find. And I've got a feeling that some of them have already been taken over by AIs as well, so pledge to protect. I think that is the last one. Wow, looks like Greece could be going to lose a city there as well. Anyway, now that's all done, let's go on to the next turn. So we've got a fairly decent amount of production going in our one and only city. And this is the only thing that's going to slow us down. As far as science goes, we are ahead of the curve. Now, I'm not worried about anybody else winning at this point. Nobody can get a domination victory unless they take my capital, which I'm not going to allow to happen. No one is anywhere close to getting a culture victory, and I've got the highest tourism out of anybody. And I don't think anybody's even influential with anybody else yet. As far as the diplomatic victory goes, I do control the lion's share of the votes right now. Now, I may not have enough votes to be able to win a world leader vote, but certainly I'm closer to it than anybody else. So the only other victory type left is the science victory, and because I'm ahead of the science curve, I should be okay with that. Now, if I remember rightly, my original plan was to let this booster finish. Satellites will finish by then, and I was originally going to use my great engineer to rush a spaceship part, because we can do that because of our level 3 tenant in our ideology. So we can finish spaceship parts with great engineers. So we don't want to do that though. We're actually going to use it to get the Hubble Space Telescope, because that will give us plus 25 production when building a spaceship parts, and that will help on every other spaceship part we build. So in the long run that will be better. Spices for gold to Sweden has ended. I guess we can keep that going. Not that we really need the money at this point, but it's always worth it if you can. Oh, you don't want spices anymore. So you've either got spices of your own. I don't think I've lost my spices. Do I still have spices? No, apparently I don't have spices. Was spices embargoed or something? World Congress. Yes, no happiness from gems, citrus, salt, and spices. I guess they were still paying for them because the deal was still running. But now that they've been embargoed, they obviously no longer willing to pay for them, which is fine. I certainly don't need the happiness. I'm at positive 74 happiness. Certainly not going to be an issue. I'll have to check the demographics at the end of this AI turn, but I would believe that I'm probably higher happiness than even the AI are with their crazy, silly happiness bonuses that they get. Still not near the top of the scoreboard here. We're still actually 5th out of 8. But it just goes to show that score isn't everything. And sometimes doesn't mean anything. So it's a little bit of a shame that there's no happiness from spices. I actually have 3 spices that could all be tradable. I guess I could try and revoke that. Depending on how other people are going to vote. I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, demographics. Let's have a look at that. So we're still ahead. Top of the science. Top of the happiness. Yeah. Yep, top of the income. And if we're going to have a look at the culture victory. And we can see, yeah, look at that. I mean, there's only actually 3 AIs that are in positive happiness, and Sweden is only in by +3. Very unusual to see the AI in negative happiness. They're really not doing well, are they? Even the ones that are, like Mongolia, are content with their ideology, and they still only have -1, so... That is quite interesting. Oh, look, a cargo ship has finished its route. Where were you going, and where are we going to send you? You're going to Fez, that's the highest gold, so keep on with that. On to the next turn. 4 turns until Satellites is finished. That will also reveal the entire map for us as well. I believe there is 1 or 2 world wonders, natural wonders, which we haven't found yet. Discovering those would be ideal for us, because that would then... there's a couple of city-states, I think, that still have quests for us to find natural wonders. I mean, we're pretty much allied with all the city-states that we've managed to find, but getting any additional influence on top of that is always a useful thing to have. I must go around to some of the other leaders and see if they are willing to enter into research agreements. Not that I particularly need research agreements. We are ahead on science, but... just forging ahead that little bit more quickly can be useful. I mean, we are going to be spending all of our production building spaceship parts, but we've certainly got enough gold in the bank. We've almost got 25... At the end of this turn, we will actually have 25,000 gold, which we can just use to purchase any buildings that we need to. So, everyone pretty much is guarded apart from Sweden and Genghis. Do we have a declaration of friendship still with Genghis? We seem to have. Can we have a research agreement? No, we've already got one. And I'm assuming we've probably already got one with Sweden as well. Trade, research agreement. Yeah, so we've already got a couple of research agreements in place. I'm just thinking about it because we do have the porcelain tower. And obviously I would like to make the most of that where possible. 6 turns away from the vote for world leader. We need 37 votes to win. We have a total of 34, so we're getting close. But we still won't be able to win a diplomatic victory this time around. And of course that will mean on the following time it comes around, we will get an extra 2 votes. Okay, Morocco is just... Is it Morocco or Monaco? Morocco has just completed the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project is something that the AI does normally build. Looks like Japan are mobilising a little bit of an army down here. There again, so is Morocco. So I guess it's Japan versus Morocco. And for some reason, they are deciding to fight just off my shores. I'm sure, did I wipe all the cities out that were down here? I know there was one here I wiped out, and I can't remember whether I wiped this one out, but either way, someone has rebuilt one. This city here, which was originally a Shoshone city, which was then taken over by Greece, has now been taken over by Sweden. Unit needs orders. We have ourselves a great scientist. We may as well pop that great scientist straight away. There's no point in building an academy at this point in the game. We're too close to the end. Just before we do pop him... which will give us 4,350 science, which ain't bad. Let's make sure we've got something else queued up after the current tech. So, what do we need to go into? I guess we could go for globalization and get an additional delegate. I mean, that's not the victory type we're going for. We could go into nanotechnology, I suppose, and then we could build the stasis chamber. Or we could go into particle physics so we can get the engine. So we've already got the ability to build the boosters, which we are doing. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the 6 parts we need. Let's queue up. Let's queue up nanotech first, because at least that way we could potentially get ourselves XCOM squads if we needed them. Not that we will, but at least we have the option to. So let us pop this scientist. There we go. We now have satellites. I've also gained an achievement there for, I think, finding 100 world wonders. 100 natural wonders. So we found Krakatoa. So there was only one that we hadn't found. And Krakatoa is always difficult to find anyway, because it's usually out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, at least it's not too bad. I mean, there are a couple of spots where you could actually plant a city and work that tile. Only gives you 5 science, but yeah, sometimes this is a troll wonder and it's like right in the middle of the ocean and there isn't anywhere close enough you could settle a city for it to actually work. Pocatello is constructing the Apollo program. I don't think I really need to worry though, to be honest. Another cargo ship. You were going to... It's not telling me where you were going to, actually. Was it a city-state, possibly? Wow, so many cities on this list now. Yerevan for 31 gold per turn. Well, go to Rabat then. Let's just get ourselves all that virtual gold. I could switch over production to the Hubble telescope right the way. Embassy with Alexander? Why not? Yeah, I could switch over to the Hubble telescope straight away and pop it. I don't really see the point in doing that, though, because, like I said, we are ahead on science. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to beat me to that, so I'm not too worried about losing it. Let us finish the booster that we already have in production, because we need to build 3 of these anyway. And we're only going to be 2 turns away from completing it at the end of this turn. Natural wonder discovered for Yerevan. So I knew there was at least one city-state that was looking for a natural wonder. So that is good. Colombo longs for culture. I'm not one of the highest culture output cities, which is understandable when you've only got a single city. It's hard to be top on the culture output. But I have the most wonders, 14. Look at that. And Alexander has 0. He would have been a lot higher if I hadn't have destroyed his capital and taken all of his wonders with him. Cargo ships, Marrakesh. Yes, that's always been very profitable. Look at that, over 26,000 gold now. On to the next turn. I'm afraid the next few turns are probably going to be quite boring while I'm just clicking next turn, because there isn't really an awful lot that I can do. Alexander has made peace with Sweden. And you now want to go to war with Japan. That is very interesting. I don't have any interest in the arrangement, but you go ahead and do that. I mean, Sweden is second in score. Pocatello's still at the top, but not an awful lot I can do about him. Now, of course, now we have the entire map revealed. One thing I wasn't aware of, obviously I knew that Japan had a city down here somewhere, but most of Japan is actually all the way up here nestled right next to Sweden. I'm not sure if I ever knew that that was up there. Let's have a little look as well. Shoshone, yep, they do have a few cities around. And they've got a border with Marrakesh. Obviously, Mongolia's got quite a lot of spaces. But look, of course, you've got Milan. Obviously, was a city-state, now taken over by Genghis. Manila was a city-state also. Monaco, also a city-state. So, there's quite a few city-states around that have been... Vancouver, yeah. So, there's at least 4 city-states that... Genghis Khan has taken over. So that's fair enough. But again, I'm not worried. Morocco has made peace with India. Japan has made peace with India. So, a lot of people stopping their wars. It's a little bit too late now. I've managed to keep the AIs fighting between themselves for long enough that they've kept out of my way. Turn 401 though. This is a standard pace game, and normally... a scientific victory would have been won long before now, but of course when you've only got one city, it does slow things down quite a bit. So there's Sweden completing the Apollo program, but of course completing the Apollo program doesn't necessarily mean that they're going for a science victory, also doesn't mean that they are anywhere close. And the Apollo program, like the Manhattan Project, is something that the AI always does tend to build just so they can keep it there as an option. Something was about to hassle Brussels there, not too sure... who that was. Maybe it is Mongolia. If Mongolia are already at war with Brussels, then pledging to protect them after the war started isn't necessarily going to help. Yeah, it's not telling me who they're actually at war with. Pocatello is currently moving an army with naval escorts, currently sailing towards the Indian city of Delhi to launch a sneak attack. And Alexander is building up an army with a naval escorts for a sneak attack against another civilization, but we don't know who that is. We have finished our rocket part. So what we are going to do now is we are going to start work on the Hubble Space Telescope. We are going to take our booster and add it to the spaceship. We are going to take our engineer and move him into the city. Can't do anything with him on this turn though. Cargo ship, you are going to go to Timoak, might as well. Just maximise all that gold. On to the next turn. So, on the next turn, we should be able to pop that great engineer. It may not be enough to complete the Hubble Space Telescope, but it'll certainly be enough to get us quite close to it. And that's going to be absolutely fantastic then, because we'll have 25% additional speed on building the rest of the space. You want 4,500 gold. Why would you possibly need 4,500 gold? Go away, silly little man. Get over it. 4,500 gold. Absolutely ridiculous. At what point, how much gold do you actually have, and why do you need 4.5k? I always thought it was bad enough when the AI used to come to you and ask for like a couple of hundred gold. But 4,500, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't break the bank. I'd hardly notice it was gone. And to be fair, I'm probably still going to have this amount of money left when I complete the game. But that is a stupidly high amount of money to ask for. Right, you. Trade. No, he's on minus 104 gold per turn. I'm not sure how he's managing that. It's probably because he's got a massive navy that he's using to try and attack all the city-states. Alexander is actually going after Morocco. Okay, fair enough. Let us pop our great engineer. That's put it down to 1 turn. That is fantastic. Cargo ships again, of course. Still not as bad as Beyond Earth for cargo ship management, so I'm not worried too much about that. And there's another cargo ship. You were going to Musankani. You might as well just carry on going to Osaka. At this point in the game, it doesn't really matter anymore. So we've already got 1 part on our spaceship. We will get 2 great scientists as well once we have completed the Hubble Space Telescope. So we'll be able to pop both of those as well. Unfortunately, this is another game where we won't be using giant death robots, mainly because I don't actually have any uranium anywhere, and secondly, on a sort of archipelago style map or a fractal map, it becomes a little bit pointless. Obviously, this is an archipelago style map, but yeah, a lot of Japan still sailing around with privateers and frigates. I think they're very, very behind on the technology curve. First influential culture. There's the Hubble Space Telescope. We are the first civilization to be influential over somebody, and that is Mongolia. Hardly surprising. We will probably be influential over Sweden next, then Morocco. So we could get there, but that's not what we are aiming for. So we finished our Hubble Space Telescope. Let's go ahead and look at our spaceship parts now. So boosters take 8 turns. We need 2 more of each of those. Assigned delegates. We have 34. Well, obviously we're going to vote for ourselves, even though we know we cannot win. So let's commit delegates. 2 great scientists. Might as well pop them again before we do. Let's go ahead and queue up the next sciences so that the overflow goes in. So we want to go into particle physics. I think after that we might go into globalization, just so that we can get that additional delegate. It does give us the option of getting a diplomatic victory if it looks like somebody else may beat us to a scientific victory, as unlikely as that is. So now we have the XCOM squads. That is fantastic. Let's pop that one. 4 turns away from mobile tactics now. And let's go on to the next turn. Venice is about to grow again as well. There we go. There's the pop-up from Mongolia, just to confirm that we are influential over them now. I think 34 population is the largest size city I've ever had in a Civilization 5 game. And I suppose it's bound to happen in a single city challenge, because you've literally got to put everything into one city. You've got to go mega tall. No world leader chosen. Well, we knew that was going to happen. That means next time around we will have we have 36 votes now, only one short. That does help us for well, we can propose something as well. Let's repeal that ban on spices, because why not? City-states, are we still allied with all of the ones that we're aware of? Yes, we are. We can adopt another policy. Let's go and have a look at our ideology. I guess we could go for another level 1 tenant, just so we could get the other level 2 tenant. I've never actually managed to completely fill a an ideology. I doubt that I will. I mean, all of these give me happiness, which is pretty pointless. And it's all local happiness anyway. Just pick one just to try and fill them out. 76 happiness, not that I need it. Let's go on to the next turn. We've got time for one more. 7 turns until that SS booster has completed. Pocatello's now completed the Apollo program. So even though we are ahead of the science curve, we're not massively ahead of it. Although, to be fair, the Apollo program is quite early compared to spaceship parts. So just because you've got the Apollo program doesn't mean that you're anywhere near starting to build spaceship parts. So again, not too worried about that. Almost at 30,000 gold as well, which is going quite well. Rigging some of these elections nicely. Have actually moved up slightly in the scoreboard, now in 4th place. Again, still doesn't mean an awful lot. We now have mobile tactics. I'm guessing that was a research agreement that has just ended. Research agreement with Sweden, yeah. So we will go in and see if we can get another one going. What do you want for this? A lot of stuff. Open borders, some money, gold per turn. Yep, all fine by me. So we may even win this game before that has a chance to expire anyway. Let's have a look, and I guess it's cargo ships that need dealing with. Yep. Just go to Casablanca. And that is all I can do on this turn, so I'm going to call that the end of the video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Civilization 5, the One City Challenge, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.